Hey gorgeous, it's Ker-leen. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing some long-lasting Arabian perfumes with you. These are perfumes that I have worn for 8+ hours. I will also be talking a little bit about how I spray my fragrances with you all. So if any of that piques your interest, then please keep watching. Hey friend, welcome back. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me chit-chatting about fragrances. I hope your week has been going great so far, and I'm super duper grateful that you're here. If you're watching and you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail. On this channel, I talk luxury, I do review videos, I share my fragrance journey, and I also sprinkle in a little bit of lifestyle. So if any of those things sound good to you, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when my videos drop. All right, let's get into it. Before we jump in today, I wanted to mention a couple of things. The first being that the way that we define long-lasting differs greatly. So for the purposes of my video, I'm defining long-lasting as a fragrance that I can still smell on my clothing on the 8-hour mark at minimum, and in some cases beyond. Secondly, this video is going to be a little less about notes and more so about performance. So I will still pop up the notes on the screen, but just keep in mind I won't spend too much time talking about notes or the way these fragrances smell today. All right, let's jump in. This first fragrance is what I would call a powerhouse of a scent. This perfume will still be on my clothes after I throw them in the wash. That's how amazing of a performer this one is. This one is Janun Rose by Al Haramain. Janun Rose will still be on my clothing after I throw my clothes in the wash. That's how potent this one is. And this one is one that I think projects very nicely as well. Although this video isn't about projection, this one projects at more than an arm's length for several hours. And this one is just one that I love to throw on when I'm going to be outside in the elements and I just really want my fragrance to project, because this one will not disappoint. This one is going to project, and is going to project for a long time. This one is not only going to project, but it's going to still be on my clothing beyond the 8-hour mark. So this one is so good, y'all. The scent plus the performance makes this an amazing value. I also love layering this. I layered it with Bora Bora by Giardini di Toscana the other day to go out to a restaurant, and when I tell you that combination was everything, it was everything. This fragrance is such a soft and sophisticated and very feminine fragrance in my opinion. This is supposed to be a dupe for Amouage's Blossom Love. I did do a video talking about the similarities and the differences. I will link it here so you can go back and watch. But y'all, this fragrance does not disappoint. It never disappoints. If you're looking for something very soft and feminine, something that has a fresh and powdery vibe that's going to last you for an entire workday, or maybe for a day out, a day where you might be shopping and just sort of walking around, going to have brunch, going from place to place, this is going to go the distance. This is Janun Rose by Al Haramain. Speaking of Al Haramain, this is another gorgeous fragrance from the house. This is Janun Noir. So Janun Noir is a little bit different than Janun Rose. This one is more of a vanilla fragrance that opens up with a little bit of a citrus, but then it dries down to something very fluffy, very vanillic, very sweet and creamy. And this is one that projects. It doesn't project as loudly as Janun Rose, but this is going to project and give you a nice little scent bubble. But the most important thing is this one is going to last you until the next wash. This will still be on your clothes until the next wash. So this is another one that I think goes beyond the 8-hour mark, and it is such a versatile fragrance. So this one is going to present well for a variety of different occasions. I'm talking church, I'm talking doctor's appointment, work, a live class, maybe like an open house for parents, a meeting, brunch, a date night. This fragrance covers the whole gamut of social occasions that we can possibly partake in on a daily basis. So this one is another very pretty one. This one is not powdery or rosy, and it also doesn't project as much as Janun Rose, but this one is a beauty and a standout fragrance on its own. This one is supposed to be an alternative to Dama Bianca, Again, I have done a video comparing and contrasting the two. I will link it here for your reference. But y'all, dare I say it, this one performs way better than what it's supposed to be duping. Way better. I would say at the very least, if you were thinking about getting Dama Bianca, but you're not sure how you're gonna feel about the DNA, try this one. Not to mention, this is going to go beyond the 8-hour mark. So this is Janun Noir by Al Haramain. This next one is one that I feel like is a moderate to high performer. If you're familiar with makeup, you know how they tell us that a foundation or a concealer is a medium coverage but can be built up to full coverage? That's how I feel about this fragrance. This fragrance is a moderate projector, but it can be built up to a high projector, meaning it can fill a room if you overspray. The fragrance I'm talking about is Noix d'Arabie by Pandora Scents. And Pandora Scents is a Paris Corner line of fragrances. I have done a dedicated video for this fragrance. I have talked and talked and talked about it. It is so luxurious smelling. If you love a good rose fragrance that has a woody touch, and you also love very sugary, sweet, edible smelling fragrances, this fragrance gives a little bit of all of those things. I feel like this is also a nice introductory fragrance if you are not sure how you're gonna feel about the note oud, because there is an oud in here, but it is so palatable, so fragrance user friendly, if you will. It is not scary at all. But the best part about this fragrance is it lasts up to 8 hours. It will be on your clothes at the end of the day. And the fact that it's so wearable and it lasts all day long is part of the reason why I love this so much. The other reason I love this so much is the juice. The juice smells absolutely luxurious. It smells very sexy. It smells grown up, but also has a little bit of a playful vibe because it's very sugary sweet. And it's just a very luxurious experience when I have this on. Every time I sniff this, I want to put it on. Every single time. I actually wore this to bed last night and it's just so good. There's also a creaminess to this fragrance. It's almost like a velvety, creamy sort of feel that you can't tell where one note begins or where it ends. They're so well blended that it comes across as velvety and creamy, and I love this fragrance. It's so good. So if you're a gourmand girly, but you also love a good rose fragrance, maybe you want to dip your toes in the oud fragrance pond, this is a nice place to start. I would recommend starting here, especially when it starts cooling down. I feel like that's when you'll really be able to appreciate this one. You got to wait until it gets cold, because then you're going to look at it in a different light, especially if you're new to like oudy, very woody type scents. So y'all, this one will take you to the 8-hour mark. This will go the distance for a typical day. This is Paris Corner's Noix d'Arabie. These last two are new to my collection, but they are long lasting. So I can already tell that this time next year, they're going to be amazing performers. This next one is Yara Candy. Yara Candy is super playful, very creamy, candy-like fragrance. It starts out very bright, like a sugar-coated gummy, and then it gets really creamy. So instead of a sugar-coated gummy, this ends up being like one of those candies that kind of melt in your mouth. I'm not sure if y'all have ever seen those or had those, but it's a candy that has like a fruit and cream swirl that melts in your mouth. That's what the dry down is like to me, in my opinion. So this one, I wore it out and I had a full day, 8+ hours, and this was still on my clothing at the end of the day. This one projects a lot more loudly than the original Yara, but where I think it shines the most is how long lasting it is. This one took me to the 8-hour mark. So I think that if you're looking for something playful, something casual, something very fruity, something that is also a good transitional fragrance in my opinion because of how creamy that dry down is, this checks off all of those boxes. So I will link the video where I featured this fragrance and talked all about it when I first got my hands on it for your reference. This is Yara Candy. And the last fragrance, but certainly not least, is my newest beloved Juicy Melange. You already know how much I love this fragrance. This fragrance is like a party for my nose. Every time I put my nose to this nozzle, it just puts me in such a good mood. It is so beautiful. It's just so unique, but it's not so unique that you just don't get it. It's so unique that keeps you coming back. I don't know how they did it, but this is so intoxicating to me, to my nose. You can already see how big my dent is in this one because I have been so absolutely obsessed with it. Absolutely obsessed. This fragrance is such a unique blend of fruits and a little bit of spice. The base of this fragrance is my absolute favorite part because the base gets so warm and creamy and so delicious. So the combination of all of those notes and accords just makes my nose extremely happy. This fragrance not only has a gorgeous moderate to high projection, but it took me beyond the 8-hour mark. I've also worn this fragrance to go work out, and this fragrance was going strong the entire rest of the day. So this fragrance really clings to your clothing. It just sticks to your clothing. And even in an environment where I was sweating profusely, I still smelled very fresh at the end of my workout. And even after my workout, if I had to run an errand or do something else before going home, still going strong. And this is the type of fragrance that I feel is best enjoyed in spring and summer because you can wear it to those theme parks. You can wear it to go walking. You can wear it for a full day of errands. And rest assured, you're gonna smell absolutely beautiful the entire day. Like I said, this is a moderate projector, but you can build it up to a high projector if you overspray, and it will project for 5-6 hours, but this will last you the entire day. So this is Juicy Melange by Paris Corner. So next, I wanted to respond to a request I got recently for how I spray my fragrances. And the two fragrances I'm going to be using to demonstrate are Noix d'Arabie. This one is one that I feel is going to project more loudly because it does have heavier notes, really substantial, really strong, deep, rich notes. So I'm going to treat this one like a fragrance that projects loudly. So I'm actually going to wear this one today. Side note, I am more of a clothes sprayer than a skin sprayer. I will test fragrances on my skin, and I don't mind fragrances being on my skin because if they are on your clothes, then they're on your skin to some degree, but I don't like spraying directly onto my skin just because I want to avoid putting too many of those chemicals directly onto my skin. What I would do is I would go in from shoulder to shoulder and then on both sides of my abdominal area. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and a couple sprays on my back. So I'll just reach behind me and spray my back. And then I'll spray my hair, but I'll hold the bottle far away and just do a couple sprays towards the back of my head. I'll also spray the lower part of my body, so my legs, maybe like 4 sprays on the bottom as well. And that's how I would do something lighter like this fragrance. And that spray routine is for running errands, going to brunch, going to lunch, that sort of a thing. Now, if I know I'm going to be active, so I'm going to a fitness class, I know I'm going to be sweating, I will do that routine times 2. So I'll do like 16 sprays on the front of my clothing, between the top and bottom, and then like 6 to 8 sprays in the back. I'll try to reach the back of my body and then the back of my head as well. So if I know I'm going to be sweating, we're doing all of that times 2. Now for a heavier one like this one, I'm only doing 4 sprays in the front, a couple sprays behind me. If I wanted to project more for some reason, then I will spray the lower half of my body. But for the most part, with my super duper heavy fragrances, I'll spray the front of my upper body, the back of my upper body, and the back of my head, and that's it. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope I was helpful to you. I'm not an expert. I just spray my fragrances however I feel they need to be sprayed to give me what I'm looking for at the moment. So thank you so much to my beautiful subby for the request, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you're still here, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to give this video a like on your way out. Also, if you enjoy fragrance content, I make quite a bit of it on this channel, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and be sure to turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video. Before we part ways today, I want to remind you that you are loved. No matter what you've been told, the God that created you loves you. Not only are you loved, but you were created to spread love to others. I hope that encourages you and that you think on that today. I will be over here doing the exact same thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one very soon. Mwah!